Welcome all of you. So now we are going to start with what? Invasive species. Invasive species means what? It's derived from the word invasion. Invasion is the what? So when the foreign country will attack our own country, that's called your invasion. Similarly, we have invasive species. Invasive species means what? These species are what? Do not belong to India. Rather what? They belong to some other country and they have been brought in India. For example, most famous is what? Congress grass. Sabhi love suna hoga, Congress grass. After independence, India was suffering for food insecurity, and because of that, USA intervened and it supplied what? Wheat. In those wheat, there were certain seeds of what? Congress grasses. Now you can, if you go to the villages, you will see the wheat cultivation. They will see some of the Congress grasses in the nearby field itself. Now when you talk about the Congress grasses, it releases some of the chemicals, and because of those chemicals, the growth, the productivity of other crops, they will get affected. Are you getting it? This is the future perspective. And finally, what will happen? The productivity of nation will drop. When productivity of nation will drop, what will happen? We'll try to import products from America itself, and that was the big cause of concern. Recently, you might have seen, you have going through the newspaper, and apart from that, you might be knowing that there is a dead zone in Mexico region. Are you aware of it? Gulf of Mexico. In the Gulf, just near the Gulf of Mexico, we have dead zone. Gulf of Mexico, dead zone. Dead zone is what? It is completely devoid of oxygen. Why so? Because of eutrophication. You might be knowing about the eutrophication. Eutrophication means what? Nutrient runoff, and because of it, there will be algal bloom, and because of the algal bloom, the photic zone, it will be covered, it will be devoid of light, and because of that, what will slowly and gradually the different species of the fish, it will be dying over there. And for the purpose of degradation, what will happen? The bacteria, they will be consuming the oxygens. Okay, and finally, what will happen? The area, it will be devoid of oxygen, and because of the devoid of oxygen, what will happen? Again, the things will die. Okay, the BOD is very less, biological oxygen demand. Biological oxygen demand is very high for the purpose of degradation of this, and the oxygen content is what? Very low. Is it okay? And then in Gulf of Mexico region, there is a bigger dead zone over there because of the excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer. Is it okay? So that when you talk about these Congress grasses, it was been, I think, it was intentionally introduced. Hai? Okay. So this is called invasive species. So according to the Convention on Biological Diversity, we have discussed about the Convention of Biological Diversity. Invasive species are characterized by the ability to arrive, survive, and thrive, out competing thin species for resources. In India, invasive species are defined under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, amended in 2022 as non-native species posing a threat to wildlife or habitat. So this is okay. It is being in your Wildlife Protection Act 1972. They biological invasions are also put human health, food security, and livelihoods at risk. Are highlighted United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 15. This sustainable goals, jo hai, because of the introduction of invasive species, what will happen? This particular statement, it can be added in your statement. Okay, food security. The Intergovernmental Platform on Biological Diversity and Ecosystem Services reported over 37,000 established alien species worldwide, with an annual economic cost exceeding how much? 423 billion USD dollar. Okay, the world has become what? Commercialized platform. So now initiative, what are the different initiatives on a global scale? You will see we have what? Convention on Biological Diversity, is it? So the Convention on Biological Diversity and its parties, including India, recognize urgent need to address the impact of invasive species. Under Article 8H of the CBD states that each party should prevent the introduction and control, eradicate alien species that threaten the ecosystem habitat and particular species. You might be knowing about this. Naval ships are there, no? Naval ships, so they have blast water for the purpose of balancing their buoyancy. Suppose if I have to move from this Gujarat to Mexico region, the naval ship, it will move. It will be what? Carrying the stuffs over there. Now in those naval ships, what blast waters are there? Blast water means water. It is being maintained over there for the purpose of balancing buoyancy force. Okay. In those blast water, what will happen? There will be certain species of fishes from Gujarat. It will move to America, and from America, certain species of fishes or certain species of sea grasses or whatever it is, marine species, it will be moving to India itself. So this is also one of the factors it contributes toward the invasion of invasive species. Take it. Okay. The CBD sets global priorities, guidelines, collect informations, and helps coordinate international action on invasive species. We have convening Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. Yesterday we have discussed. Is it okay? It talks about the conservation of biological diversity. Obviously, because of the introduction of invasive species, what will happen? Certain species cannot survive over there. For example, you must be knowing about mangur mas. It's famous in Andhra Pradesh. Mangur mas. Mangur mas. It's a bigger fish. Just mangur mas. Okay. So if in the pond there are 20 different species of fish, and if someone puts the mangur mas inside that, what will happen? After 3 or 4 months, you will see only mangur mas. So that thing is what completely banned. It is what completely banned in India. But still, okay, what will happen? Because it decreases the biodiversity. If it is there into the pond, what will happen? That particular fish, it will survive. Mangur mas. Okay, हिंदी में उसे हम लोग सिंगी मछली, सिंगी मछली का वेराइटी जो होता है ना, सिंगी मछली छोटी, उसकी बड़ी मछली जो होती है उसे हम लोग मांगुर मास कहते हैं. ओके, मांगुर मांगुर मंगूर ही बोल दीजिए. समझ पा रहे हैं ना? Yes. Leave it. You check it on the internet. What do you call it? Okay. Now, specifically for India, you can see we have in National Biodiversity Action Plan. Target 4 is specifically focused on the prevention and management of invasive species. Why? Because suppose in the examination, if questions related to invasive species are being asked, this target, it will be there. It will be 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it's very difficult to remember it, and because of that, I have added it. Now, National Action Plan on Invasive Alien Species, launched by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, focuses on preventing new introduction, early detection and control, management of established invasive species. National Invasive Species Information Center, the center provides information resources on invasive species in India. Plant Quarantine Regulation of Import of into India out of 2003. Under the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, it regulates the import of plants and plant material to prevent the introduction of IS. Okay. We have Cartagena, we have in Convention of Biological Diversity, we have studied what? Cartagena protocol that talks about what? Fair and equitable. Fair, not equal. Remember, fair and equitable distribution, not equal. Equitable, fair and equitable. Okay. For example, suppose I have carried out certain, this is a term, fair and equitable, where it will get confused. For example, I'm a researcher, I went to South Africa, something like that, and there are certain different species of insect. I have carried out the researches over there, and after carrying out the research, I have developed the medicines. I'm selling it in the market, so definitely I'll be getting profits. So obviously, I have to share some of the profit to that particular reason where I have conducted that research. Apart from that, it doesn't mean that I have to share equally, 1%, 2%, whatever it is. But equitable means what? I have used genetic engineering technique over there, so that particular technique I should share with them, so that they can also develop it. Okay, it's not always in terms of monetary benefits. Okay, it's okay. For example, we have this lantana camera, we have Bilaiti kicker, we have Senena spectabilis. Okay, so we'll see once. Okay, this is what? All these three, okay, all the three species. Now here you can see when you talk about the lantana camera, its origin is from tropical America itself. Vertical stratification create, suppose if because of this, if you go to the forest or if you go to the like trees or something like that, here it will form a complete canopy over there. It will be completely covering the area. Because of that, what will happen? The light cannot penetrate, and because of that, what will happen? The other shrubs and herbs, it cannot grow over there. ठीक है ना? So vertical stratification creates a dense mid canopy that blocks sunlight, affect 44% of the Indian forest, increases human wildlife conflict as herbivores leave forest to find food. Obviously, what we have discussed, vertical stratification means what? If trees are being grown, they will be completely covered by this. Now, the herbs, shrubs, the different grasses, it cannot grow over there, and because of that, the herbivorous animal will move out from the forest. There is a what? Vilayati killer. It's from Mexico region. Grassland killer dominates 50 to 60% of the Bani grassland of Gujarat. It deep taproots deprecate water. What? It is having a deep root, and because of that, it will extract all the water from its end. And because of that, all other plants they cannot find the water. Other is what? Senna spectabilis, tropical America. It's in your Nilgiri threat, specifically invading violent, and Bandipur outcompetes high value native trees like teak, rosewood, disrupting the local timber and fodder economy. These are you. Now we have what? Water hyacinth, terror of Bengal, South America. This is important. Write down water hyacinth species. Important. Write it down. Just a moment. Okay, water hyacinth eutrophication role. Okay, now clocks wetland Kaziranga. It is, suppose for example, what is eutrophication? You might be aware of it. The basic concept of eutrophication is what? Because of the excessive use of nutrient like urea, what will happen? Already we have discussed that urea that we are using, it is only 33% effective. Rest of the urea, because of the runoff, it will enter into the field. Okay, and now what will happen? It will enter into the agricultural pond, wetlands, estuaries, and because of that, what will happen? Algal boom will take place. Algae, they will utilize this, and apart from that, they will completely block. They will go for the excessive replication. This will completely block it. Photic zones are completely blocked. They will be completely covered by the algae, and because of that, they won't be any sunlight. The fishes, they will start dying, and because now to degrade it, there is a high biological demand, and because of the high biological demand, what will happen? The oxygen concentration will decrease. Now, when you talk about water hyacinth, it's also what? Invasive species. Now, when you talk about like nutrient eutrophication, we have discussed, that is your nutrient enrichment. Now, this water hyacinth roots, they are very much capable of taking nitrogen and phosphate. They will very easily take up what? Water and phosphate, and because of that, the complete area, the complete pond, within a frame of 18 to 20 days, it will be completely covered with what? Water hyacinth. And recently, it is being seen in your Kaziranga National Park also. It's a threat to wetland, and because of that, the different fishes also, they cannot survive. Here you can see. देखा होगा आप लोगों ने, you must have seen this water hyacinth. Okay, next is your what? It's from South America. Next is your black mimosa, North America. Riparian invader forms thorny impenetrable thickets along the western Ghats and Himalayan rivers, alters the flow of water, prevents animal from accessing drinking. Okay, next is what? Congress grasses we have discussed. It's from North America itself. Health and allelopathy entered via PL480 wheat import causes parthenosis, respiratory skin allergies, and uses chemicals allelopathy to prevent the other plants from growing nearby. So all this is your invasive species. Okay. Now Ramsar Convention. What is wetland? Wetlands क्या होते हैं? What is the definition of wetlands? That means what? Do you think the rice field, can you consider it? Rice field can be considered as wetland. Okay. Okay. See, for Ramsar Convention. So Ramsar is an intergovernmental treaty adopted on 2nd February 1971 in Ramsar, dedicated to the conservation of wide use of wetlands. Wetlands are defined by the Ramsar as the area of marsh, fen, peatland, water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with a static or flowing water that are fresh, brackish or salt. This transition zones ecotones include marine water areas where the depth of the low tide does not exceed 6 meters. How much? 6 meters. Feathering a hydrophytes and hydric soil. So this is the definition of your. Okay. Now, what are the three pillars of this convention? First is what? Wise use of wetlands. Second is a list of international importance. And third is the international cooperation consult on the transboundary wetlands and shared species. For example, we have also Montreux record also. List Ramsar wetlands facing ecological change due to human interference. For example, presently in India we have what? Keladrio National Park, that is in Rajasthan, and Loktak Lake, Manipur. Earlier we have this Chilika Lake also, but because of the restoration program we have restored it. So Chilika Lake, it is being removed. Okay. So this is also important, write it down. Conference of Party 15 of Ramsar Convention, write it down. Okay, so we will discuss. Now 15th Conference of Parties of Ramsar Convention was held in Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe with a theme protecting wetlands for our common future. Okay, it says that wetlands vanishing 3 times faster than the forest. The rate of degradation of wetland is what? 3 times faster than the forest. Okay. What is the declaration? Victoria Falls Declaration acknowledges the triple planetary crisis. It integrates wetland into national climate and sustainable development goals. Is it okay? First. Second is what? 5 strategic plan, 10-year roadmap with 4 goals and 18 targets to reverse global wetland losses. Freshwater challenges. Restore freshwater challenges is what? Because when you talk about the wetlands, they are the aquifers. They are the natural aquifer responsible for the purpose of recharging your groundwater. Obviously, if wetlands they are decreasing, they are declining, what will happen? In the coming future, we will be suffering from freshwater. For example, you must be knowing about the case study of Chennai. The Chennai earlier, okay, before 1970, it comprises of more than 200 wetlands. But all those wetlands, they are being enclosed and they are being used for the purpose of development of infrastructural project. And because of that, in Chennai, the water table is very low. Okay, they are getting the water from the adjacent district itself. Okay? And because of this, here you can see freshwater challenge restore about 3 lakh kilometers of rivers, 350 million hectares of wetlands by 2030. Aquifers. Okay. Now we have global governance in India policy leadership. We have IBRRI 2025 to Indo-Burma Regional Plan for Cambodia, Laos, PDR, Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam. Bridge program. Swiss funded focus on the transboundary cooperation and gender mainstreaming. Global waterbird estimates to combat population and declines via integrated. Because when you talk about the global birds, okay, migratory birds, they move from one particular place to other particular places, and they particularly target the wetlands itself. India's goal, okay, mission life resolution. India's plan on sustainable lifestyle passed unanimously by 172 countries. What is mission lifestyle? What is mission lifestyle? Are you aware of it? In the conference of Party 26, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has started mission lifestyle. Mission lifestyle means what? It says that we have to change from the policy towards the behavioral approach. That means what? Now we have to change our behavior, and that particular behavior, it should be eco-friendly in nature. Eco-friendly in nature. If we are changing our behavior automatically, simultaneously, what will happen? The policy, it will be developed. For example, we have to focus towards what? Ecotourism, eco-friendly in nature. है ना? तो जितने भी आपके behavior, it should be what? Your eco-friendly in nature. This is called mission lifestyle. Okay, get some obviously we are focusing towards the development of what? Organic food. If you are talking towards the development of organic food means what will happen? We are not using chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are not being used. What will happen? Wetlands. There won't be cases of eutrophication. No eutrophication means what? Wetlands will survive. Okay? So mission lifestyle means what? Policy shifting from policy towards behavioral approach. Behavioral approach, that is your eco-friendly nature. Okay. Network size, largest network of Asia with 98 Ramsar sites as of February 2026. India reported ground truthing 1,70,000 plus wetlands via 2 million plus of volunteers. Okay. We have, so from that particular one question can be asked. We have the different points, key points over there. Okay. Now, urban milestones and grassroots conservation, for example, wetland cities, 31 new cities accredited globally, valid for 6 years. Indore and Udaipur are the first recipients. Site focus, Sirpur Lake, urban bird sanctuary model, Udaipur 5 major wetlands. Mission Sahbhagita. Sahbhagita means what? Sahbhagita. People will voluntarily participate towards the conservation of wetlands. Okay. For example, there we have reported that we have around 20 plus millions. 20 lakh people, 2 million people, they are what? Responsible for what? Maintaining wetlands. Ground truthing success with massive 2 million plus volunteer mobilization for how much? 1,70,000. Okay, so these are the wetlands, just go through it. These are the wetlands that are recently in the news. Some of the wetlands are being added. For example, Kitchen wetlands, it's in Rajasthan district, follow the northern Thar district. It's a what? Natural wetlands. Okay. Key species, Demosis cranes are being found. If you go to the Minar wetland complex, it's also in Rajasthan. Udaipur district, freshwater monsoon wetland. Okay. And it is famous for critically endangered vultures. So this is what? Important. Okay. Complex of 3 ponds. We have Silisre Lake, Rajasthan, Alwar district, human made, 1845, created by Maharaja Vinay Singh across Ruparel tributary. We have Gokul Reservoir, Bihar, Boxer district, Oxbow Lake. It is what? Oxbow Lake. That means what? It's a natural lake. It's also what? Natural lake. You must have studied about the Oxbow features. When a particular river it meanders, sometimes it forms what? Oxbow lakes. ठीक है ना? You must have studied geomorphology. Located on the southern edge of Ganga River. Okay. So Udaipur Lake, it's do not get confused with the Udaipur city. Okay, it's your what? It's in Bihar, West Champaran district. It is also what? Oxbow Lake. Okay, that means what? It's a natural lake. Otherwise, the people will confuse Udaipur with the Udaipur city. ठीक है? Surrounded by Udaipur Wildlife Sanctuary. Gogabil Lake, it's in Bihar, Katihar district. It's a what? Oxbow wetland, migratory birds. Copra Jalasay, Chhattisgarh, Bilaspur district reservoir, aquatic species. Upper catchments of river Mahanadi. It's a nutrient-rich region. Okay. We have Vimbanad Lake, Kerala. Okay. Largest brackish wetland in Kerala and third largest waterfall population in India. We have Dal Lake, Jammu and Kashmir, hosted first Khelo India Water Games. Floating gardens, we have Nanja Rhino Bird Sanctuary, Tamil Nadu, designated the Ramsar site in 2024 itself, restored the heritage water body critical for migratory birds located in Tripur district. These are the most common one. Okay, just go through it. These are the latest edition 2024 and 2025. Okay. We have Kazuveli Bird Sanctuary, Tamil Nadu, designated Ramsar in 2024 itself. Second largest breakwater wetland in South India, Coromandel Coast. Tawa Reservoir, Madhya Pradesh, added to the Ramsar in 2024, located inside the Satpura Tiger Reserve. We have Ansupa Lake, Odisha, largest freshwater oxbow lake in Odisha. Sustainably managed high biodiversity, located on the bank of Manadi River. Okay. Now let's study about mangroves. So what are mangroves? Are you aware of it? Mangroves, what are it? What is it? Okay. Ecotones. Huh? Okay. See, first it is what? Salt tolerant plant community. This is most important. Salt tolerant plant community found in the tropical and subtropical intertidal regions. They thrive in high rainfall areas. If you talk about like 1000 to 3000 mm with temperature ranging from 26 to 35 degree Celsius. Now key characteristic is what? Habitat and growth conditions. They thrive in the tidal flats, estuaries and deltas. They are what? Ecotones with high silt deposition, experiences bi-daily tidal flooding. Okay. So obviously what wahan pe kya hoga? It's a highly salty condition. First, apart from that, high silt deposition is there. Is it okay? It's a what? Ecotone. Now they adapt to the high solar radiation, anaerobic mud, and they can extract fresh water from the saline water. They can extract fresh water from the saline water. Physiological conditions, they develop pneumatophores for respiration. This is what? Now you can see that when you talk about the mangroves, they are in what? In the silt deposited area, and it seems to be what? Muddy like structure, and because of that, what we will have anaerobic conditions over there. We'll have anaerobic conditions over there, and because of these anaerobic conditions, to adjust, to be adaptable, to get adaptations over there, what? They have pneumatophores. They are called the blind roots. They are called your blind roots. They are the pneumatophores. These are your pneumatophores. So they respire using this pneumatophores. We have discussed about the respiration process, that each and every part of the plant, they must respire. For example, the roots they take what? Dissolve oxygen from the itself, because root is very much essential for the purpose of what? Transportation of water minerals. Now we talk about this particular roots. They have to take, but it's what? In the anaerobic conditions. In the anaerobic conditions, it's very difficult to take the oxygen from inside, and because of that, they have what? Blind roots. They have pneumatophores, and because since these pneumatophores, the roots are outside, they can take the water. They can take the oxygen from the atmosphere itself. Okay. Second, we have prop roots for stability. This is the prop roots for the stability. For example, they are acting as what? They are acting as a shield against cyclones. They are even soil erosion also. They are acting as a shield against cyclones, tsunamis, and all those things. Why? Because of these prop roots. These prop roots are very much strong, and they provide stability. Other is what? Lenticulated barks for water losses and salt secretion. Okay. From here, what will happen? Salt will get secreted. Now we have, for example, reproductive adaptations. Mangroves exhibit viviparity, where seeds germinate on the trees before falling, ensuring survival of the saline condition. So here you can see that when you talk about the seeds, they are being germinated on the leaves itself. And finally, what? During the time of zygote to embryonic movement, they will fall into the water and they will start developing. This is called what? It exhibits viviparity. Okay. Now significance, they have high capacity of carbon sequestration. Okay. So natural carbon vault stores 7.5 to 10 times more carbon acre than tropical forest. This is very much important. They are very stronger what? Carbon sequestration process. They have been what? They can capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Provide critical habitat for the nursery. For example, mangroves First is what we have discussed, that in the marine ecosystem, the highest biodiversity is for your coral reef. Second is for your mangroves or estuaries. Third is for your kelp forest. Okay. Ayan. Okay. Now, mangroves in India, total mangrove scope is how much? Approximately 4,991 square kilometer. Okay, 0.15% of the total geographical area as per Indian State of Forest Report 2023 itself. We have discussed India recorded 11.4% net increase in the mangroves cover in between 2001 to 2023. West Bengal holds the largest share of Indian mangroves, where it is Sundarban region itself. Okay, followed by Gujarat and Andaman Nicobar Islands. So highest is for you West Bengal. Sundarban mangroves on the delta of Gangas, Brahmaputra and Meghna river on the Bay of Bengal are the only mangrove forest globally beside to harbor the significant tiger population of Bengal tiger. Regional initiative for conservation, TN SOAR largely funded by the World Bank, designated to strengthen the Tamil Nadu coastal economy and resilience. So here you can see the mangroves, the highest is for you Sundarban mangroves, is it? We have Gujarat mangroves, Mangai, Ratnagiri, we have Goa, we have Cochin estuary mangroves, we have mangroves in your Andaman Nicobar Islands. Okay. Now, when you study mangroves, we have to study this sustainable aquaculture in mangroves ecosystem. Okay, same. So, context sustainable aquaculture in mangroves ecosystem model developed by Nature and Environment Wildlife Society has received global technical recognition from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Now, what is same? A multi-stakeholder partnership to strengthen transformative process in the shrimp trade as a basis for the protection of mangroves ecosystem in South Asia. Shrimp farming, you must be knowing about the shrimp farming. So that particular shrimp farming, it can be done along with the mangroves plantations also. Shrimp farming can be done along with the mangroves. Why so? Shrimp farming can be done along with what? Mangroves plantation. Okay, what will happen in the shrimp farming? What will happen? The excreta that is being released, okay, they have what? Higher nitrogen content, higher nitrogen content. Now this will be taken by the mangroves, and apart from that, the mangroves leaves, when they are being shedded, they will be eaten by shrimp itself. It is okay. And because of this, we talk about what? Shrimp farming in what? Along with the mangroves. So a multi-stakeholder partnership to strengthen transformative process in as a basis for the protection of mangroves ecosystem in South Asia. In Sundarban, same aims to build a resilient ecosystem, standardizing a practice of cultural methodology of brackish water aquaculture. That means what? Brackish water means we have discussed about the mangroves. It can live and sustain in apart from in that particular water system. What will happen? This shrimp can also develop. Funding Global Nature Fund in consultation with Natureland EV plus Mercedes Benz. Remember it, okay? So we are getting the funds from here. So this particular statement, it can be confused. It can make you confused. Operationalizes the integrated mangroves aquaculture, which aims to promote extensive culture of low stocking densities with no additional feedback input. Okay. Now, economic and policy dimension of same. First is what? Blue carbon. Restored mangroves. We have discussed about the carbon dioxide sequestration process, which is having what? 4 to 10 times more capacity. Other is what? Market access. Shrimp produced from the same can go to the organic certification. ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन में जा सकता है, बिकॉज व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द श्रिम्प फार्मिंग, व्हाट श्रिम्प फार्मिंग मींस व्हाट, श्रिम्प जो है they will directly feed on the mongoose leaf itself. Mongoose leaves itself, and after that, when the shrimps will develop, what will happen? They will release the nitrogenous excreta, and those nitrogenous excreta it will be taken by the mongoose plantation itself. There we do not need to have any sort of chemical fertilizers, and because of this, it will be classified as organic one. ठीक है ना? Policy linkages directly support the MISTI Mangroves Initiative for Shoreline Habitat and Tangible Incomes. Okay, they have direct linkage with MISTI program. We will discuss what it is. International alliance with the Ramsar Convention, wise use principles, sustainable development goal. Okay, 14. Because mangroves are also what? It's a wetlands. Ecotones, wetlands, some mangroves. Okay. ठीक है. Now solve this question. How does same initiative function as ecological biofilters? Though through the use of mangroves roots to absorb excess nitrogen and phosphorus from aquaculture runoff. Is it true? Okay. This question, how does same model distinguish itself as a tool for climate change adaptation specifically? Why B? C. Okay. Okay. See, basically there are two terms under climate management. One is called climate mitigation strategies and other is called climate adaptation strategies. Okay. Climate mitigation. That means what? Suppose climate mitigation means what? We have to control this carbon dioxide. And this process is called what? Carbon sequestration process. Okay, so we will plant what? Plant mangroves, because just now we have discussed that its capacity is 4 to 10 tons higher. So planting the mangroves means what? It's a climate mitigation strategies. Okay, for example, cyclones. They are also what? Cyclones. So cyclones, it can be controlled, or the effect of the cyclone, it can be controlled to some extent with the help of mangrove system. But adaptation means what? We will adapt in that particular ecosystem. So by enhancing the resilience of the local economy and physical landscape against increasing cyclonic frequency. Okay, resilience local physical landscape. Is it okay? For example, there are two things we have discussed about the same initiative. It talks about what? That we can go for the shrimp farming. So obviously the local people over there, they will go for the shrimp farming, and because of that, what will happen? Their economic growth will take place, and apart from that, this is acting as a what? Biocide. Is it? So statement क्या होगा? B. Okay. Now solve this question. Okay. Now, first, the Sustainable Aquaculture in Mangrove Ecosystem Initiative is frequently cited as a bridge between India's national environmental goals and the international wetlands obligation. In this context, consider the following statement. While the MISTI scheme provides the macro framework of mangroves afforestation across India, same functions as the micro-level implementation model that specifically address tangible incomes. So the local community over there gets some income by the process of free farming. They do not have to add any sort of foreign inputs. Component to the integration of the primary sector. Primary sector means what? Aquaculture is what? It's a primary sector. The statement is what? Correct. Second is what? The same models aligns with the Ramsar Convention wise use principle. Wise use, already we are having this salt water. Okay, so when you are planting the mongoose over there, obviously it is going to what? Filter it. It is acting as a biosealer. Apart from the same farming can be done over there. Okay. Unlike the traditional command and control conservation, both SAME and MISTI emphasizes social forestry principle, but the local community act as a primary custodian of the biosphere. Is it? This is also true. The success of the SAME contributes directly to the India nationally determined contributions by enhancing blue carbon sink capacity of the coastal wetlands, because it is having the capacity of sequestering the carbon dioxide. So all the statement, it is what? Correct. Okay. Now, MISTI, a mangrove initiative for soil and habitat and tangible income scheme, announced in the Union Budget 2023-2024, aims to restore and protect mangroves ecosystem. Restore means what? It will go for the afforestation, will go for the plantation of mangroves along India's coastal land, covering approximately 540 square kilometers across 11 states and 2 UTs from 2023 to 2028. It promotes carbon sequestration, strengthens coastal resilience against climate change, boosts local livelihoods through participatory, co-friendly initiative. That is why we have discussed that when we talk about this SAME initiative. Okay, both SAME and MISTI, they work in what? Collaborations with together. That means what? They work in synchronization with each other. Okay. So, where is the trap? UPSC can trap it. How? See, MISTI scheme implementation and funding. Okay. Now in MISTI scheme, what we have discussed, along with creating the resilience, along with creating the tangible incomes to the local community over there. Okay, it also talks about afforestation. It talks about what? Plantations of mangroves. Who will plant? And where finance will be coming from? We have what? Compensatory afforestation funds. We have discussed. Is it? We will get those funds if we suppose, for example, if a particular company, it will come over a particular region where the trees and all those things, it has to be disturbed. They have a particular value as per the ecosystem services they are providing, and those particular values they have been calculated in terms of NPV, and they have to give equivalent amount of funds, and that particular fund, it will be collected in a Campa fund itself. Apart from that, they have to carry out equal amount of afforestation. The money, we know afforestation now finance. So MISTI scheme implementation and funding. Adopting the Nagar Van Yojana model, the State Forest Department oversees the restoration across forest and non-forest lands. Executions, implementation is driven by the state and national Campa funds via the net present value components alongside Manrega. Okay, Manrega. So in Manrega means what? The local people over there, they will work and they will get money. And how they will get the money? They will be getting the money from Campa fund. Is it? Fund splitting 70% Campa compensatory afforestation for 30% Manga, Manrega and other sources. Okay, Manrega, people will be, people will be engaged under Manrega. Manrega means how much they will be getting, you must be knowing of it per day. And apart from that, 30% funds from the Manrega and 70% from the Campa itself. Okay. So now the questions can be explored that Campa fund, it can be utilized for the development of mangroves. Yes, that is true. Okay. So यहाँ से UPSC क्या कर सकती है? Trap कर सकती है. ठीक? Okay. So MISTI scheme, it is primarily aimed at achieving the India's climate commitment announced at the Conference of Party 27. The scheme works in tandem with the Mongroup's Alliance for Climate initiative led by the UAE and Indonesia, that India joined Conference of Party 27 to promote mangroves conservation. Okay, ठीक है ना? This MISTI scheme is because of this. Okay, na? So that what we can. Now, what is Mongroup's Alliance for Climate? It includes UAE, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, Australia, Japan, and Spain. Voluntary alliance with no binding targets, members set individual commitment, global awareness, knowledge sharing, and research on carbon sequestration. Supports the Mongroup's breakthrough to restore project 50 million hectares by 2030. So this is all about you, Mongroup's. If any sort of question is being asked, it will be solved. ठीक है ना? Please revise it. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please carry out the revision process. What? 30% Manrega itself. You must be knowing that the government जो है certain money is given to the Manrega itself. हाँ, पहले का था ना. हाँ, तो उससे मतलब नहीं है. When you talk about for the afforestation of mangrove, 70% it will be coming from the Campa itself, 30% it will be coming from the Manrega itself. 30%, whatever the money. For example, it talks about like 10 lakh rupees. So 7 lakh rupees it will be coming from the Campa and 3 lakh rupees from the this Manrega itself. अलग अलग होते हैं. Okay, just remember in the next classes we will discuss about the Campa fund itself. ठीक है ना? Okay. Coral reefs. Okay. Are you aware of it? Coral reef. Okay. What is it? Coral reefs. Polyps lives in symbiotic relationship with what? A particular algae called zooxanthellae. Okay. Now, polyps, जो है, when you talk about the polyps, okay, it's that polyps provide what? Substrate for the algae so that the algae can survive over there. And algae, it will carry out the process of photosynthesis and nutrients it will be given to the what? Polyps itself. Is it okay? When the polyps die, what they release calcium carbonate, and this is what? Okay, this is the particular process. Okay. Now, the colors, remember one thing, the color of the coral reefs is because of the different algae over there. The colors of the coral reefs is because of the different algae over there. Okay? So, it consists of an invertebrate animal called polyps that live in symbiotic relationship with algae called zooxanthellae that provides them with the nutrients through photosynthesis. Optical conditions for the coral reef is what? 23 to 29 degrees Celsius, and apart from that, this will be in the photic zone. Because when you talk about the algae, it will carry out the process of photosynthesis. Obviously, what it will be requiring light, so always it will be in the shallow water in the photic zone. Temperature clear in shallow water because of algae. Photic zone less than 50 meters for the sunlight penetration, because when you talk about the water, what is the photic zone? It is limited to depends upon the water, the minerals concentration, but it is generally limited to what? For fresh water it is 200 meter, but for oceanic water it won't be 200 meter because we have salt concentration. Okay, photic zone for fresh water is how much? Okay, 200 meters. Types of coral reefs. So we have fringing reef, barrier reef, and this is what? Atoll. And the different colors you will see. This is what having the highest biodiversity. highest biodiversity in marine ecosystem. Marine ecosystem. This is called what? Rainforest of the sea. Rainforest of the sea. Rainforest of the sea. And the colors is because of your algae itself, zooxanthellae itself. Okay. Now, when you talk about the corals, basically there are two types of corals. One is called your hard corals, and other is called your soft corals. So, hard corals extract calcium carbonate from the seawater to build hard white coral exoskeletons. So, you will see the barrier and all those things, the reef that is being created is because of your hard corals. Now, soft coral attach themselves to the hard skeletons, older skeletons built by their ancestors. Okay. What is coral reef bleaching? Coral reef bleaching is what? Because of the, now in the stressed condition, what will happen? The coral, the polyps, the coral structure, the polyps, they will start losing zooxanthellae. If they start losing zooxanthellae, what will happen? They will lose the color. And we have discussed that when we talk about zooxanthellae, it is responsible for carrying out the photosynthesis and it provides nutrients towards for polyps. Now slowly in the stressed condition, what will happen? This polyps, it will lose algae, it will lose zooxanthellae, and slowly and gradually what will happen? They will be devoid of nutrients and finally they will die. Finally they will what? Die. Okay. So here you can see this colorful is because they have what? Zooxanthellae, and this is what? Colorless. Now, why we are discussing it? Because we have discussed about the climate tipping point. In the beginning of the classes, when I discussed about the climate tipping point, that is what it has crossed within the limits of homeostasis, so that what it cannot come back to its original state. So, context: Australia experienced record coral bleaching event as a part of the 4th mass coral bleaching event started in 2023. Marked with the most intense marine heat waves across the coasts, because we have seen that the temperature, there is a limitations of the temperature. If it beyond the temperature, what will happen? Coral bleaching will take place, and because of the bleaching, what will happen? Zooxanthellae, it will move out, and slowly and gradually polyps, it will die. First thing. Now here one more factor. Coral reefs in India, particularly Gulf of Mannar, Lakshya, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the Gulf of Kutch are also experiencing severe bleaching due to rising temperature and climate change. Impacted region: the 4th global coral bleaching event has severely affected major reefs in Lakshya, Andaman Nicobar Islands, and the Gulf of Mannar and the Gulf of Kutch itself. So under 4th global coral reef bleaching, our Indian coral reefs, they are also being included. Species affected: a study indicate Favids and Leptostria species are highly sensitive, while Porites shows delayed response, and some species like Cyphastria demonstrate resilience. So these are the different species of your coral reefs. Basically, we are carrying out the research. You must be knowing that we are artificially developing the coral reef itself using biorock technology. So we are studying on the different species of reefs, which one seems to be highly resilient in nature. Okay. Now legal protection. Coral reefs are listed under Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Okay, this is also under Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, this statement, it can be included, and obviously maximum student, they won't think of it. So it is included under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 19, providing the highest level of legal protection. The regulatory measures: the Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 2019 restrict the development activities and waste disposal in ecologically sensitive area to protect the reef itself. Restoration technique: biorock technology. Geological Survey of India in collaboration with the Gujarat Forest Department is using mineral accretion technologies to stimulate coral growth. It's in what? Artificial technology. With the help, we will take the steel bar, and with the help of electric current, we will try to what? Develop this coral reefs. And finally, when this reefs is being developed, what will happen? The polyps, it will come over there and will start, polyps and zooxanthellae, they will start living in a symbiotic relations, and finally that reefs will start growing. So normally, its speed jo hoti, it's what? Faster than the natural development itself. We have coral transplantation. The Wildlife Trust of India The Gujarat Forest Department has successfully transplanted corals in the Gulf of Kutch, including the reintroduction of extinct staghorn corals. Artificial leaf. Lakshya administration is installing artificial leaf transplanting heat resistant coral leaves, and because of that we have seen the different species of corals. Okay. Now, global ocean darkening. Write it down also. This is also important. Global ocean darkening. Okay. Global ocean darkening. So, a study found that 21% of the global ocean has become darker between 2003 to 2022, especially in the Arctic, Antarctic, and Gulf Stream region. About darkening of the ocean, it refers to the reduction in light penetration into the global ocean, shrinking the photic zone. Okay, that means what? Light, we have discussed the photic zone. For example, for the fresh water, there is certain photic zone, and it is in between these photic zones we can see the kelp forest, we can see the coral reefs, we can see the different estuaries over there, ecotones also, and because of that we are having the biodiversity over there. Now just think of a particular conditions when this particular photic zones they are being completely filled with the nutrients. What will happen? First of all, algal bloom will take place, photic zone will reduce. We have what? Anaerobic conditions over there. Okay. So the photic zone is the sunlight we have discussed. Reasons. First is your what? Coastal zones runoff, agricultural runoff, high increased agriculture nutrients, organic matter, sediments swept into the sea by heavier rainfall. This triggers light blocking algal blooms. We have discussed. This is one of the major important factors. For example, we have discussed in the Gulf of Mexico. We have what? Dead zones, and the dead zones is because of your heavy use of pesticides, heavy use of nutrient. Open ocean, climate change, rising sea surface temperature, and and altered oceanic circulation change plankton's dynamics. Polar regions, deglaciations, melting glacier release sediments and organic brown carbon into the water, a process often called coastal browning, and because of that the photogenic what? It reduces. Okay. Here, this is what? This you can see this condition. I think these photos, they are what? The dead feces. Dead feces, and this is what? Gulf of Mexico region. Gulf of Mexico region. Here what we have? This is your what? Dead zone. In the dead zone, what will be there? It will be devoid of oxygen. Oxygen concentration will be very low, and because of that you can see the species, they are what? Dying. Clear? In 2017 itself, some of the environmentalists, they have blamed this poultry farm for this. Poultry farm, because you must be knowing that when you talk about the poultry farms, they use excessive amount of chemicals. Excessive amount of chemicals they are being used. And now in those chemicals, basically what? Those chemicals, first of all, those chemicals, they are also being released in the ecosystem. Apart from that, the excreta that is being released, the fecal matter that is being released, also they are being washed away to the pond itself. So ultimately what? They are responsible for enrichment of nutrient. So here you can see the dead zone is a seasonal phenomenon that peaks every summer. The process follows a specific chain reaction. For example, nutrient runoff. The Mississippi Atchafalaya River Basin drains 41% of the continental US. It carries massive amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, mostly from the agricultural fertilizer and sewage into the Gulf. Algal bloom will take place. Then this nutrient acts as a superfood for the algae, causing them to grow at an explosive rate. Decomposition and hypoxia. When the algae die, they will they will sink at the bottom, and now for the purpose of what? Degrading them, bacteria will come into picture, and because of that the bacteria will use up all the oxygen, and that particular reason it will become what? Devoid of oxygen. Death migration. When the oxygen level drops below 2 milligram per liter, the water becomes hypoxic. Fish and shrimp swim away, but the bottom dwellers like crabs, snails, they cannot move faster enough, eventually what? Suffocate and die. Okay. Now environmental DNA. Environmental DNA. I have discussed the process of environmental DNA. For example, for example, there is a particular pond. Okay, and from the in that particular pond, I have to see the biodiversity. I have to see the biodiversity. What I will do is just simply collect a sample of water itself. In the sample of water, I will be getting environmental DNA. For example, I will be getting skills from the feces. Okay, certain animals' urines, I will get certain animal fecal matters. I will be getting certain hairs. Certain animals' hairs, I will be getting. So all those things, they are what? Environmental DNA. They are what? Environmental DNA. And the process, remember one thing, if we have to study environmental DNA, we have to study this process of metagenomics. So the process in which those environmental DNA, we go for the genome sequencing, please. We go for the genome sequencing of environmental DNA, and after carrying out those genome sequencing process, we can interpret the number of different species living in that particular pond. So this particular process of carrying out the genome sequencing process of environmental data is called your metagenomics. Metagenomics. Okay. Metagenomics is the direct genetic analysis of entire microbial community from the environment or clinical samples by passing the need for laboratory culture. Okay. Blue washing. This is also important, just write it down. Blue washing. This term seems to be very much important. UPSC can explore this option. Blue washing means what? There are, for example, there are certain companies, for example, organic farming or agriculture, they will be coming into what? Green status. Okay, that means what? They are eco-friendly in nature. But blue washing means what? Okay. See, what is blue? What is blue washing? See, in 2000, why this term is there into the news? In 2025, the Central Pollution Control Board introduced a new blue category of industries under pollution index. First is what we have green category, then we have what red category. In between that, what we have blue category. Okay, this blue category also seems to be what? Eco-friendly in nature. Okay. It was intended for essential environmental services, activities that help environment like sewage treatment plants and composting. The controversy, the Central Pollution Control Board reclassified waste to energy incineration plant from red category highly polluting to this new blue category. You must be knowing that there is a process. For example, in Delhi you go, there is a garbage hill. In Ghaziabad, garbage hills are there. Okay, na? Garbage hills, just like the mountain. Okay, so they continuously go for the process of burning those garbage. Obviously, if you burn those garbage, what? Carbon dioxide, NOx, and apart from that, dioxins and furans, because we have polythenes also, it will also get released. Do you think it is? It comes under the green category? No, it won't be coming under the green category. It will be coming under red category because it is releasing heat. Apart from the different pollutants are being released. But these industries, they claim that what they claim that we are responsible for treating those waste, and because of this, what you can see, the Central Pollution Control Board reclassified waste to energy incineration plants from red category to this new blue category. This is called blue washing. Actually it is not environmental friendly, friends, but it has become what? The Central Pollution Control Board has what? It has put it into the blue category. Seems to be environmental friendly in nature. So critics argue that waste to treatment plants emit high levels of carbon dioxide, dioxin effluents. By moving them to the blue category, the government is blue washing a highly polluting industry to make it seems environmental friendly. That means what? Earlier it was the word. Suppose I'm an individual, I'm in red color. So my original body color is red, but what the government will do? The government will bath me with the help of blue color. Now this is called your blue washing. But actually I am red. That means what? It's a heavy polluting industry. But what the government has shifted it to blue category. So that is what? Blue washing. समझ में आ गया? वो marketing नहीं. This is actually the term. I read all the magazines. I used to go through the magazines. ठीक है ना, अब समझ में आ गया क्या है, दिस इज कॉल्ड योर ब्लू वॉशिंग। ठीक है ना, सिमिलरली वी हैव ग्रीन वॉशिंग, मेकिंग फॉल्स misleading. Suppose if that particular industry it has been completely placed in the green category itself, that will be your green washing itself. Okay. Now, acha, we will study this National Green Tribunal. Okay, when we're discussing about the environmental impact assessment. Okay, na, there will study. Okay, now United Nations High Sea Treaty. United Nations High Sea Treaty. This is also important. Just write it down. Important doesn't mean that you only study this particular topic. Okay, you have to study each and everything. Important means that there is a probability that these questions can be asked. Okay. Otherwise, I have seen a student, they will study the only important topic and after that they will directly call me, sir, nothing is being asked. ठीक है ना, ऐसा तो नहीं हुआ कभी आज तक, लेकिन फिर भी it's an UPSC ahead of us. Okay, United Nations High Sea Treaty. Treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond natural jurisdiction. That means what we have exclusive economic zones, है ना, up to 200 meters from the territorial area. This is our what jurisdiction, and after that also after that also there are different marine resources that can be utilized for the purpose of developing certain medicines, and for the purpose of controlling those we have this particular treaty. So treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond natural jurisdiction, so are known as high sea level treaty. High sea level treaty, okay, do not belong to any nation's jurisdiction, has been ratified by 60 countries and will enter into force. Aim ensuring the conservation and sustainable utilization of marine biological diversity in areas beyond what national jurisdiction, areas beyond exclusive economic zones. Okay, implementing agency Ministry of Earth Sciences. India signed it but did not ratify it. Members not part of United Nations Convention Laws of Seas can also join this particular treaty. Okay, now historic agreement. United member states have agreed on a legal framework to protect world ocean. High Sea Treaty places 30% of the sea into protected area by 2030, aiming to safeguard, recuperate marine. 30% of the seas are protected. How much? 30%. Okay. Key pillars of the treaty: mechanism of area-based management, such as we have what? Marine protected area. We will create what? Marine protected areas into the high sea. Marine protected areas, clearly defined geographical spaces, recognized, dedicated and managed through the legal and other effective means to conserve marine biodiversity in that particular distance. For the purpose of conserving those marine biodiversity, what we will be creating? Marine protected area. Share financial and non-financial benefits from the commercial applications of marine genetic resources. Obviously, if you are using these genetic resources for the development of medicines, obviously what? Fair and equitable distribution, it has to be done. So sharing both financial and non-financial benefits, I have discussed, it's always not in terms of monetary benefits. We have to share the technology also, technology transfer also. Capacity building and transfer of marine technology to assist developing countries in implementing TT by sharing knowledge, skills and, okay, this comes under your non-financial benefits. Environmental impact assessment for high CC activities such as deep sea mining. Exceptions to the agreement warship, military aircraft and naval auxiliary. They will be what? Exceptions. ठीक है ना? The obligation concerning the utilization of marine genetic resources and the digital sequence information. Remember, we have discussed when we were discussing about the Convention on Biological Diversity. There we discussed about the digital sequence information. For example, genome sequencing report. So if you're using it, we have to share what we have to give them. The fair and equitable resources distribution should be done. Okay, so here also comes into picture whenever we're talking the biodiversity. So the obligations concerning the utilization of marine genetic resources and the digital sequence information do not apply to the party military activities, including those by the government, vessels and the aircraft in non-commercial services. They are out of this. Okay. Okay. Now, what is United Nations Convention of the Laws of Sea? We have discussed there, because there we have seen that the party that is not the signatory of this, but still they can be the member of that particular treaty itself, United Nations High Treaty. So what is this? For example, here you can see, often called the Constitution of the Ocean, is the primary international treaty governing the use of seas and the ocean, adopted in 1982. It entered into force in 1994. So we have what? Zones, for example, territorial zones. This is what? Territorial zones. 12 nautical miles. So up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline where coastal areas have sovereignty, so it will directly belongs to the nation itself, for example, India. Contiguous zone up to 24 nautical miles, allowing states to prevent infringement of custom, physical, immigration and sanitary laws. And we have this exclusive economic zones from here 200 economic zone, 200 nanometers, up to 200 nautical miles, where coastal states have sovereign rights for exploring and exploiting natural resources, up to limited from this 12 nautical miles to 220 nautical miles. This is exclusive economic zones. High seas, and after that what we have? High seas. This is your high seas. So ultimately when you talk about the high sea treaty, it talks about this. It talks about this. That means if someone is using this marine genetic resources, who will be responsible? It is not coming under the jurisdiction of any particular nation. So this will be governed by high sea treaty itself. Okay. Deep sea mining, seabed beyond national jurisdiction is called the common heritage of the mankind managed by the International Seabed Authority. Okay, if we are seabed beyond national jurisdiction, that means, or suppose if you talk about the extraction of polymetallic nodules in these particular regions, so it's the minerals, polymetallic nodules. So those polymetallic nodules, extraction of this, it will be under your International Seabed Authority. Write it down somewhere. Suppose here, when you talk about the exclusive economic, this is what exclusive economic zone. It is up to how much? From 12 nautical miles to 200 nautical miles. Suppose here we are extracting polymetallic nodules. So obviously not an issue. But suppose someone extract polymetallic nodules from here, so it will be by the International Seabed Authority. It will be under the control of. Dispute settlement establishes mechanism like International Tribunal for the Laws of the Seas. That is responsible for the what? Settlement of disputes. Okay, now solve the question. Just a moment, let me see. Okay. With reference to the marine genetic resources under the BBN High Sea Treaty Agreement, consists of marine genetic resources are governed by the principle of common heritage of mankind, which mandates that all the commercial profit from the deep sea discoveries must be shared equally among the United Nations members. कहीं equally नहीं लिखा गया है, wherever it is what? Fair and equitable distribution. ठीक है ना? This statement is wrong. This treaty includes digital sequence information on marine genetic resources within its benefit sharing framework. There we have discussed one particular question that if you are using this genetic digital sequence information, we have to give percentage. It establishes a clearinghouse mechanism to facilitate the sharing of scientific data, traditional knowledge for indigenous peoples and local community. Yes, true. So answer it will be your 2 and 3. Okay. solve this question. Okay. Which of the following best reflect the India's strategic interest and legal position regarding the BBNJ agreement? Its ratification support the Deep Ocean mission by providing the legal framework for the exploration of polymetallic nodules. This is what? Wrong. We have उससे मतलब नहीं है. There we have discussed. If you can नहीं ठीक है. यहाँ देखेंगे. Just a moment. That is okay. Ratify किया नहीं. If India ratifies it, for example, here you can see I have written it clearly that deep sea mining is what? Extraction of mineral. It will be managed by the International Seabed Authority. Okay, international. This particular BBJN, it's for your marine genetic resources, not for minerals. India ratification supports its deep ocean. If it gets ratified, it will for deep ocean missions, where we are talking about the what? Blue economy. So this statement is what? Wrong. Okay. The BBJN agreement supports India's sagar security and growth for all region, initiating by promoting sustainable governance of the Indian Ocean global commons. True. Participating in this benefit sharing mechanism allows India to access high-end marine biotechnology without infringing on the sovereign maritime claims. That is also true. Okay. Now, International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plant. Okay. It established in 1961 headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. For example, I have discussed this. For example, when India joined WTO in 1995, at that time India was having the provision that it has to join this particular initiative, United Nations for the Protection of New Varieties of the Plant itself. Okay, but if India joins it, what will happen? The traditional rights of the farmer, they will get snatched, and because of that, India didn't join it. Rather, India enacted a particular law that is called your Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Right Act 2001 itself. And this particular law, that is Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Right Act, it is in accordance with the TRIPS agreement. It is also accordance with the TRIPS agreement. Is it okay? So let us discuss a bit regarding protection of plant varieties. Okay, protection of plant varieties. We have discussed this. Now, protection of plant varieties and Farmers' Right Act. Already we have discussed what? For example, farmers are recognized as plant breeders and they can register their varieties. For example, if you talk about the IPR, intellectual property rights, similarly, there are farmers, okay, who will be carrying out what? Hybridizing process for the purpose of their development of certain new seeds. If certain new seeds are developed, ultimately what? They should also get the protection right, and because of that, the farmers, they are recognized as plant breeders. That means what? They can register their varieties. Their particular seeds, they are being protected. They will be the exclusive owner of that particular product itself. ठीक है ना? That means what? These are the patented seeds. Okay, ठीक. But for the purpose of registration, they do not have to pay any sort of fee. For example, if you want to file the patent, you have to pay the fees. Okay, लेकिन उस समय जो है इसमें पेमेंट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, since it is a farmer. Second is what? Farmer engage in the conservation of genetic resources of land races and wild relatives of economic plants, and their improvement through selective and preservations are recognized, and they will be what? Awarded. The most important aspect is what? Why this particular law is why it was being created, so that what? The farmer traditional rights are being protected. For example, here you can see we have discussed, suppose the farmer, if it is purchasing seeds from a particular company itself, clear, he will sow the seed, and after harvesting, what are the different provisions? He can save the seed for the next season. He can share the seeds with the neighbor itself. Even he can sell the seed into the market, but it will be what? Sold into the market in an unbranded manner. So these were the traditional rights of the farmer, and they were being included in this particular law itself. And now the companies, since we have particular laws that protect the traditional right of the farmer, and because of that the company they have shifted from what? Terminator seed technology. Terminator seed technology, that means the second generation they are what? Non-reproductive in nature. Apart from that, here we can see farmers varieties are eligible for it. We have discussed the period of protections of the field crops is for 15 years, and the trees and vine it is for you 18 years, and for notified varieties it is 15 years from the date of notification under section 5 of the Seed Act. The farmer can claim for compensation if the registered variety fails to provide expected performance under given conditions. For example, when you talk about like contract farming, suppose PepsiCo company it produces chips itself, it moves to UP, Uttar Pradesh, Morena district, they are famous for what? Potatoes. And they said that you have to use these potato seeds, and definitely 1 acre of land it will be producing how much? 1000 kg of potatoes, and I'll give you 10 rupees per potatoes. That means what? If a small particular field it will be producing how much? 10,000. Okay. So what I mean to say, under contract farming, suppose PepsiCo company, if it approaches a particular farmer, it says that you have to utilize my seeds, and if it is being used in 1 acre of land, it will be producing suppose 5,000 kg of potato, and per kg I will be giving you 10. That means what? He will be getting 50,000 from 1 acre itself. He is having 10 acres of land. He will be getting 5 lakh. But he purchased those seeds, he planted it, and finally one field produces how much? Only 1,000. Only 1,000. That means what? 1,000. That means 10,000 into 1 lakh rupees. 4 lakh rupees loss. So that 4 lakh rupees the company has to pay. This also provision is there. Apart from that, civil and criminal remedies are provided for the enforcement of breeder rights. There are provisions related to the benefits of compulsory licensing and voluntary licensing. Also, you might be knowing about it. Voluntary licensing and compulsory licensing. Are you aware of it? For example, we'll discuss about the patent. Okay, so suppose if I have developed a completely new medicines, obviously I will get the patent, and this particular patent it is exclusively applicable for a period of how much? 20 years. That means what? Within 20 years, I am the exclusive owner of my company. And when the patent expires, what? The medicines it become generic in nature. That means what? All other companies they will be using the formula for the production of those particular medicines. Similarly, in the pharmacy, if you are going, you will be getting the patented drug. But if you go to the Jan Aushadhi Kendra, you will get the generic version. And because of that, the cost is very low in nature. Now there is a provision that during the time of emergency, if due to the unavailability of the medicines, lots of people they are dying, the government what? First of all, it will go for what? Voluntary licensing. That means what? He will be calling, suppose America, he will be coming, he will be calling that industrial owner to India. He will be saying that I am having this particular XYZ company. Okay, please make the joint venture. This particular company, he will be producing your drugs, and definitely you will be getting 20 to 25% as a share, okay, profit as a share itself. But he said no. He said no first. Then finally what? The government will go for compulsory licensing. He will say the company start manufacturing the medicines and give the share. How much he demanded? 20%. That is, so this particular provision it is also applicable in the cases of protection of plant varieties and farmer attack. For example, suppose I have developed a particular seed, and that seed is what? It seems to be climate resilient. That means whatever the situation, this productivity remain intact in nature. Now the cost of the seed is around 5 lakh rupees. Definitely it won't be afforded by the normal farmer. So in such a scenario itself, the government will go for the voluntary licensing, and if it is not being agreed, the government will go for what? Compulsory licensing. Okay. So this is what we have completed, this biodiversity and conservation. From tomorrow, we'll start with the pollutions, air pollutions, water pollution, and apart from that, we will start with the international treaties and conference of parties. Okay. So with this, thank you. Thanks a lot.